Most of our customers are looking at modernising their data centre and embracing hybrid IT. But there are some very specific drivers around that right at the moment. From a VMware perspective, vSphere 5.5, one of our most popular versions of our hypervisor, went end of life in September. There's quite a few customers out there who are still running 5.5, and they need to move off that and upgrade. At the same time, there's also a push from an HPE side for customers to adopt the new Gen10 servers. How can we actually bring some of this together, and how can we look at the triggers that might drive a customer to do this, and what the benefits might be? So what we're seeing is that some customers are using this opportunity maybe where they would be looking at a typical server refresh cycle, maybe a storage refresh cycle, or maybe where they're just looking to grow their business or grow their capability. These are some of the things that customers are using as a reason to start looking at upgrading their hardware and software. We're also seeing some customers who are looking at using a focus on driving operational savings and particularly reducing their cost of operations as another reason that's driving customers to look at upgrading from vSphere 5.5 to a later version. Some customers are also looking at adopting cloud, so whether that's a private cloud or some of the public clouds. To be able to do that, you need to be running on a more recent version of the software to be able to get the most benefit out of that. And particularly if you're looking at security or the more modern container type environment, these are areas where customers ideally need to be looking at running vSphere 6.5, which is good and will certainly provide quite a lot of that capability, or ideally 6.7. which is by far the preferable solution. So what does this actually mean from a customer perspective, and what's this driving? Well, actually, a lot of customers are using this as an opportunity to look at the hyperconverged environment. So why hyperconverged? Well, actually, the hyperconverged market is very hot at the moment. And whereas the traditional solutions of individual components is growing, actually the hyperconverged environment is growing at roughly 3 times that rate. It's growing typically at about 30% compound annual growth. So there's quite a lot going on in that market at the moment. And if we look at it from a storage perspective, actually, if you look at external storage, you'll find that the hyperconverged market is at the moment about 36% of that. So it's growing quite significantly. What we're also seeing, if you look at it specifically from a VMware perspective, and we look specifically at vSAN, then actually vSAN is growing at about 50% year on year. And vSAN already has 15,000 customers. What we're also seeing is that from a vSAN perspective, customers who are looking to modernize their data center and who were migrating to vSphere 6.5, of those, about 64% took that as an opportunity to deploy vSAN. So not only is hyperconverged important, but actually vSAN is very much a leader in that space. And you can see that from some of the market research as well. What about from an HPE perspective? Well, some of this is actually about renewing the installed base. So what we want to see there, and what you want to see, is to look at the refresh in that environment. But that refresh will also pull through other business for you. And in our experience, if we look at the hardware, the software, and some of the services, then what we're expecting is somewhere between a 4 and 5 to 1 type pull-through from customers who are upgrading and migrating to one of the later versions. If we also look at the hyperconverged environment, we're also seeing that customers tend to look at this as they will deploy some and they will build later. And our experience is that it's very much a land and expand type approach. And from landing, we're seeing that the expansion, we're seeing that the second and subsequent deals tend to be about 40% bigger. So it's about putting a customer on a journey and then helping them along that journey. So there's quite a lot in here that's real goodness in terms of value for customer and also value for you. So where are we really targeting? Well, actually, the target for us is vSphere 6.7. And if we look at it from an HPE perspective, it's all about Gen 10. So this is really how we can add value to customers and how we can help them along that route. If we look at it from where customers ideally should be looking to move to get the best from the newer technologies and to enable them to move to this hybrid cloud environment, then looking at private cloud and public cloud, really it's about vSphere 6.7 and the whole Gen 10 type environment. Over and above that, if we look at the versions of servers that people are running at the moment, typically we're seeing that if it's Gen 7 servers, right at the moment, there's very little that we can actually do with the Gen 7. Almost all of the Gen 7 servers don't run the current software. So customers who are on Gen 7, really customers that you need to go and talk to. Customers who are on Gen 8 will be able to get to normally vSphere 6.5. And that will provide them with some of the capability, but obviously not all of the latest facilities, including not all the latest security. So for those customers, it's a possibility. Customers ideally, from both your perspective and our perspective, need to be running on Gen 9 and Gen 10. So between us, with the end of general support for vSphere 5.5, and with you having a desire to push for Gen 10 deployments, actually we can help customers along, help them modernize their data center, move to a hyperconverged environment, saving both efficiency from an operations perspective, as well as in the vast majority of cases also saving on the CapEx side as well, because it's an integrated solution. This could be a win for you, a win for us, and real value for your customers and our customers. So I would encourage you very much to go and have this conversation with your customers as soon as possible. Thank you.